Hello folks, I hope you're all doing well. It is Sunday morning, it's around about, 7, 8 o'clock-ish sort of time. And I had planned on doing some nice filming out there on the plot. The onions are desperate to be sorted. It's been a while since we've had a look around to see what's going on. And I got up this morning and it's raining, so that's put pay to that. So we're going to do a bit of an update here in the Polytunnel, and I apologise to those people who are suffering in drought conditions at the moment and don't have any rain. I mean, we had a few weeks of it up here in Scotland, but believe you me, the last few days there has been more than enough rain, and that's not taking into account the thunderstorms that happened earlier on that a lot of places have had as well. But yesterday morning it was absolutely hammering down, and then this morning, oh God, it's not even good rain this morning, it's just drizzly, sort of horrible kind of stuff that's going on. But anyway, let's seize the opportunity to have a look around inside the Polytunnel, see how the tomatoes are getting on, a little bit of chat about how the different varieties are, what I found them like, the cucumbers, the peppers, some of the little mistakes I've made, what's going good, what's not going good. But alas, let's just spin you around here a wee second, right? And we'll start off up here, right just inside the door here. So you can see we've got the door here, and this is the first bit inside the Polytunnel there. And these are the peppers, and these are King of the North peppers, and they're growing really well. And you can see them here. There's loads of peppers, different sizes at the moment, and there's loads, especially that one at the back. There's absolutely loads of fruit on the plants, and they're looking absolutely brilliant. One problem I have had with these, and I'll show you that at the top of the Polytunnel on the other side, where I've got some more of these plants, is to do with these snapping, but I'll show you that later on, because there's an example of it that I've left there up there. And let me show you this. Another little problem I've had is, look, something's been eating these ones over here, and I don't know what it is. I think it's probably slugs, but we'll maybe have to do something about that and sort that little problem out to try and prevent that from happening to any of the others, because they're still very green at the moment. They are just starting to darken on some of them and go black, and hopefully they'll go sort of a nice bright red colour after that. Moving on to the tomatoes. So we've got, the tomatoes are in, like the peppers there, they're in two rows. So you can see we've got one halo at the front there, and then we've got another row of halos at the back there, and they're slightly offset. And that was to try and help me manage the jungle of tomatoes that have appeared, but alas, it hasn't quite worked out so well. They've got a bit too jungly, but I'm not going to worry about that, and I'll show you why, because everything's growing absolutely brilliantly. So these ones at the front here, these are a variety called a large barred boar, and they came from Baker Creek Seeds in America. First time growing them, the plants got absolutely massive. There was loads that was it last weekend I came in. I didn't film it, but I trimmed back loads and loads and loads of the foliage on these plants. But look down here, you see what I mean about it doesn't matter? Look at the tomatoes, there's absolutely loads of them, and they're massive. These are ginormous, and they go beautiful. There's a couple of more ripe ones down here. They'll go this beautiful sort of orangey red colour with the green stripes on them, and they look absolutely brilliant. And there's loads of them, there's absolutely millions of them. Look, let's come up the main truss there, and look, there's a little sucker there that we need to take out. Constantly trying to get rid of them, and it's all the way up to the top of the Polytunnel there, and I've snipped the very top off there just to stop that from growing anymore, so that's been pinched out. And coming along here, you can see, look at this, there's another giant one. This one's got a little split on it there, which is okay. I'll probably pick this today actually, but again, it's absolutely giant, and there's loads of them. They're everywhere, they're all over the place. They're down here, they're even grown down here under the floor. And again, these two here, they're sort of ones that have gone the sort of darker reddy orange colour with those beautiful green stripes on them. They're down here growing on the floor. And the plant at the end here, again, you can see them, look at them. They're everywhere. There's tomatoes absolutely everywhere on these plants, which is brilliant. They've grown everywhere, they're massive, and there's loads of them. But the taste, I can give or take. It's alright. I mean, it's tasty enough. Is it tasty enough for me to grow them next year? I don't think so. I think I'm glad I've done them. They look really, really cool. The sort of, I don't even know if the video is doing it justice as to how they look with those, the sort of reddy orange body and the green stripes. You know, but the taste is just, it's just not there for me. It's not good enough to justify, because I've got them over here as well. It's not good enough to justify taking up the space in the polytunnel for the taste of them. So different variety coming next year, I'm afraid. Speaking of taste, let me move through the large barboard jungle and show you these little beauties back here. So these ones are sun gold, which are a little golden cherry tomato, and you might think, there's not very many of them. And the reason for that is they're absolutely delicious. They are the tastiest tomato I've grown yet. So they're sun gold. Let me move down here a bit, sorry, and I'll turn you around here. You can see them growing on the trusses and the things a little bit better there in the way that they grow along there. And see the truss coming out and growing on the vine, and they're looking very, very tasty. And they're just not quite ripe yet. Another few days in the sunshine and they'll be good. But they're all along the back of this bit here. Let me turn you around there so you can see. It's there along the back row, and the plants have gone whoosh, and they've grown everywhere. They've gone left, right and centre, and it's difficult to manage them at the back behind the large barboard jungle. So I've pretty much just left them to their own devices. I've been trying to get in and about and tidy them up, because I've got to try and get the watering can through that gap into the back there to get them watered. But we'll see. It works. It's fine. It doesn't matter. They're a bit jungly. It doesn't matter. We get loads of tomatoes off them, and that's what's important. And I've been trying to trim them up from the bottom to take these sorts of, if we look at these ones here, you can hopefully see I've trimmed these all the way up to at least here to help airflow and air circulate around this bit of the plant right at the base here. There's a bit of plant hanging down there that probably needs trimmed off, and it makes it easier for watering into the halos. Anyway, moving swiftly along here to, believe it or not, there's two separate aubergine plants, one here and then one further back. Again, they're in the halo, sort of staggered here and there. I was a little bit worried about these to begin with, because I'd seen it's meant to be really difficult to grow aubergine. And I guess one thing I should mention is that everything you'll see in the polytunnel here today, I've grown from seed earlier in the season, including the aubergine plants. Now the aubergine plants are absolutely flying. So you can see we've still got some lovely purple flowers on there that are still getting pollinated. We've got some little aubergines that are looking nice and shiny there that are growing, and there's ones under there, and let me see if I can find some of the bigger ones. You can see a couple down there. I mean, they're still growing as well. I don't know if there's any just about ready for harvest. Let's have a look at the back. That one's not looking too bad. That's looking all right. It maybe needs to fatten up just a little bit more. And again, there's one back there that's looking really good. But yeah, aubergines, pretty good. They've been growing really well. Not fully sure what to do with them cooking yet. I had sort of aspirations of doing a sort of Greek style moussaka with them, but they've never really all grown and ripened at the same time, so that's kind of put pay to that. But not to worry, they're growing really, really well. They're looking good. They're doing champion. Let's spin around here, moving on to the other side of the polytunnel, and you know, warts and all, just please ignore all this mess that's back here, because eventually this winter project, so if you see my hand there, all the way along here, in front of the door and along the back end of this polytunnel, all the way along here, these paving slabs that are here, they're going to go along here, and we're going to get a nice area set up to store things on. Anyway, chilli plant in a pot. This one here is called Basket of Fire, and you can maybe see well because it grows hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little chilies, and you can see they're all at different stages of ripeness. A lot of these need to be picked. They aren't massively hot, but I mean they do have a decent bit of heat in them. But you can see it looks great. It's really, really picturesque, and again the camera, somebody's not doing it justice there. The different colours on it, with the sort of the greens to the yellows to the oranges to the deep fiery reds, looks absolutely fab, and they are growing great guns in here. And speaking of chilies, we'll just let me see if I can step over the back here. These are orange habaneros, and they are growing. They're not massively big, but there is plenty of heat in them, believe you me. That's a a half decent one, just starting to ripen there. Some of them need picking, some of them have still got a long way to go, but they're going all right. And over here we've got some chocolate doulas, which are, again, they're not massive, but boy, believe you me, these ones are absolutely fiery. You can see the, let me move these out of the way, tiny little chilies just there, but boy, they pack a punch. There's a really sort of, the dark brown colour that they go, and it's a really sort of smoky taste that they have, but by heck, there's so much heat in them. Anyway, let me try not to fall over and take a step back. And in front of these I had a couple of spare King of the North peppers, so these are King of the Norths again. These were a bit later, so they're a bit smaller, but they're doing all right. There's a funny little one just there. You can see again, they're just starting to ripen up there, but I mentioned earlier on about a slight problem with them. And here's an example here, this branch here. So you can see all the leaves have gone all sort of wilty and are starting to die off. And the reason for that is the little bit of the plant that they're on has snapped off. And the reason for that is that pepper plants are actually quite fragile. They're really difficult to move and support and things like that. And I've not had canes and supports in time on some of the pepper plants. And due to the amount of fruit, and you can just see that branch there, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 peppers on it. And I'll use them, they'll get chopped up, they'll be used as green peppers. I mean, it's better if they went red, but we'll still use them as green peppers. But there's some weight on that, and the weight of that has snapped the branch that they grow on, and they're not going to grow anymore, which is a shame. Bit of a lesson learned for next year is to get the supports and on the peppers nice and early. Moving back over here to the tomatoes, these ones here are Crimson Crush, and they are a sort of, how would I describe them? A sort of bog standard red tomato, you know. They were really slow actually in coming on compared to the others, but you can see there's loads of them now. They're absolutely brilliant. What would I say about these? The taste, it's okay. It doesn't have a lot of flavour. It's a really, really nice standard red tomato. It looks good. It cuts really nicely. It's a nice size. There's not a lot of flavour to it though. It's not a bad flavour. There's just not a lot of flavour. Like the little sun gold ones that I showed you before, they're really sweet and sugary, and you have one, it's, oh man, the flavour's absolutely beautiful. But Crimson Crush, I can give or take it, but we'll have a little bit of just a bit of a skim down here. I don't want to repeat what I've shown you on the other side there, because we've got Crimson Crush, we've got a sun gold here. You see the Crimson Crush growing back there. One thing I would say about this particular sun gold plant here, let me show you this down here, let me get in here. You can see them there, still growing absolutely fantastically, is that I actually damaged this plant earlier in the season, and I made mention of it in one of the videos, and I actually managed to snap the top off it. But what I did was, it was around about this sort of area of the plant here, I think, maybe it's a little bit lower, but I let one of the suckers grow. That took over as the leader on the plant, so from about here upwards, this was a sucker as opposed to the main part of the plant. So you can see what I mean by a sucker there, and that between the truss and the main part of the plant, this little sucker grows out here. Now traditionally you take these out because they make the plant go all over the place, they take a lot of energy out of the plant, and we don't want them. But I let it grow, and you can see it looks all the way again, all the way up to the top of the polytunnel there, and it's been snipped out of the top to stop it growing. So even though that plant was damaged, we were able to recover it. And again, we've had loads of sun gold tomatoes off it. It might not look like it, but like I said before, I've been taking all the sun golds because they're so blooming delicious. And you can see just here, more Crimson Crush all the way along here, looking absolutely fab. Again, we'll use them, just not a lot of flavour, I guess. Now, where do I even start with this bit? Let me take a step back. The cucumber jungle. The cucumbers have been absolutely brilliant this year. Now, these ones at the front here that are kind of growing everywhere, and I've just let them grow everywhere, I haven't really trimmed them or controlled them, and we've had loads and loads of fruit off them. These ones are called Mini Munch, and this one here, this is maybe about too big actually off this plant, but I found that the younger you pick them, the better they are, the better the taste they have, the better the texture and things like that. And one interesting thing to show you is this one here, look at that. That's a really, really light colour, whereas it should be that green colour. And I think the reason for that is we've maybe had a little bit of cross-pollination from our Armenian cucumbers, which are over here, which have got this ridged sort of skin and a very light, very, very light sort of colour. And I mean, they're growing well. You can see there's a couple of fruit on that plant. We've picked a few of them already, and the two grow absolutely massive, these Armenian cucumbers. But there's been some trouble. You can see here where some of the leaves have wilted and things like that, with powdery mildew just on the Armenian cucumbers. Maybe there's a bit of a weakness in it, maybe it's not. I've tried to control it. We'll keep an eye on it and see how it goes. But yeah, I think we've had some cross-pollination here, and we've got a sort of mix of a Armenian cucumber and a mini munch on this one. But the mini munches are, there's one, you can see it's grown down over here, and there's probably more hanging about in here. There you go, they're in there, they're absolutely everywhere. But let's have a little look back here and look at these, look at this, absolutely massive, this cucumber. That's probably at least, I don't know, 12 or 16 inches long, I reckon. So that's going to be getting picked today. And there's another one just here as well. I mean, that's a good 12 inches long there as well. And that variety there was a new one this year that we've tried, called Common F1. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The texture, the taste, the size of the seeds, things like that, marvellous. Mini munch, that's a standard every year. We get loads of them. Armenian cucumbers, give or take. Again, I don't think I'll do them next year. Bit of a hassle. They're okay, quite novel in the way they look and things like that. Common F1, absolutely brilliant. Magic, taste, everything. Grown really, really well. I thought at one point the plant had almost stopped fruiting, but it hadn't. It came back, had a sort of second wind about it, and we got loads more cucumbers on it, as you can see there. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I think that's about me done for today in the Polytunnel. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an update there as to how things are going. Things have grown really, really well. Like I say, the different tomatoes, different cucumbers, peppers and things like that, it's all well and good them looking shiny and amazing and beautiful and stripy, but you know, it's all about the taste and the texture and that afterwards, because I've got to be able to use them once I've grown them. But we'll see how we get on next year. Lessons learned about a few things, and we'll grow different varieties next year and some same varieties, and we'll see how we get on. Anyway, if you would like to keep up to date with what's going on, by all means please consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. Just click the button down below, or if you want to leave us any comments down below or give us a thumbs up, that's very much appreciated. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, folks, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.